So IT industry nimige, if people are switching from different domains, we consider people who are from various backgrounds also, that they have relevant experience.
Salary package for a DevOps engineer ಹೇಗಿರ್ತದೆ, especially for a fresher?
When we talk about salary is always a good motivation, right? I mean, at the end, you are trying to switch your career for better benefit. Say for example, when people start from 0 to 2 years, they expect a salary of 4 to 5 lakh rupees if they're a cloud or a DevOps engineer, right? When you hit good product companies, you expect 7 to 10 lakhs package. So one day resume itkondirtare, adನ್ನ ಎಲ್ಲ ಜಾಬ್ಗೂ ಅಪ್ಲೈ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ, right? So that shouldn't happen.
For today's webinar, we have a very special guest with us. We have with us Wasim, who has 11 plus years of experience and is a Senior DevOps Engineer. So welcome, Wasim.
Hello everyone.
So Wasim, the main thing that we wanted to address in this, the agenda of the webinar, is mainly about the salary package for a DevOps engineer ಹೇಗಿರ್ತದೆ, especially for a fresher ಮತ್ತೆ for a senior after getting a few years of experience, the 3 to 4 years ಆದ ಮೇಲೆ ಮತ್ತೆ senior DevOps engineers ಗೆಲ್ಲ ಹೇಗೆ ಅದು salary package ಎಲ್ಲ ಹೇಗಿರ್ತದೆ ಅಂತ. So that is something that we would like to know, and especially our participants for today's webinar would like to know, and it will be helpful for them as well, especially if they are transitioning, they want to become a cloud or a DevOps engineer, so a particular role ಗೆ. But before getting into all those aspects, I think the first main thing which I think we can start from is for the learning. So how long will it take for ಒಬ್ಬರಿಗೆ ಒಂದು DevOps engineer ಆಗಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು ಎಷ್ಟು ಸಮಯ ತಗೊಳ್ತದೆ, and on the learning process ಒಂದು ಎಷ್ಟು months ಅವರು ಕಲಿಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತೆ DevOps ಗೆ?
See, to start at an entry level, somebody will start, and in the 0 to 60 days time period, they will have the foundational knowledge, and where they're in stage 1, right?
Yes.
The 0 to 60 days alli ಒಂದು ಕ್ಲೌಡ್ ಪ್ಲಾಟ್ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಆಗಿರಬಹುದು, and most commonly used tools ಏನಿದೆ ಅದ್ರ ಆಪರೇಟಬಿಲಿಟಿ, ಅಡ್ಮಿನಿಸ್ಟ್ರೇಷನ್, ಅದ್ರ ಯೂಸ್ ಕೇಸ್, ಕಂಪ್ನೀಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ಟೂಲ್ಸ್ ನ ಹೇಗೆ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಏನ್ ಪರ್ಪಸ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ಅವ್ರು ಕಲ್ತಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ರೈಟ್? And they will also be in a position where they will be able to manage these tools in a production environment. From there, it is going to be a continuous learning journey for them, right? Till the point, they become a senior engineer, an architect level, and so on. But yeah, initially they need 0 to 60 months to get a good foundational handle on the topics.
0 to 6 months, right? Okay. 0 to 6 months is mandatory, is what we could say on the start of to get started as a DevOps engineer. So what would be a sequence that they should start from, if you could help them? Because there are many tools, there are at least 100 plus DevOps tools which is there. So there has to be somewhere where they have to start from. So how would you...
See, when we talk about sequencing, first they have to kind of focus on the platform, right?
Okay.
Any one of the cloud platform they can pick. And ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಫೌಂಡೇಶನ್ ಎಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್, ಕ್ಲೌಡ್ ಟೆಕ್ನಾಲಜಿ, ವರ್ಚುವಲೈಸೇಷನ್, hypervisor, they have to focus on those, right? Why and how they work.
Okay.
And once they create an account in an AWS or an Azure, they start the basic server creation, service creation, and all of this. Adartha admele they have to focus on learning Linux, right? And I wouldn't say Linux administration, Red Hat certified engineer and things like that. At a very high level, how to operate a Linux machine, they should learn, right? Which should take 0 to 4 weeks or something like that. Then they start learning the tools. Tools only, like you rightly said, there are multiple tools, right? We have Bitbucket and Git, doing the same thing for you to manage the source code. You have something like Travis CI and Jenkins for integration. So the stages are few, but there are multiple tools for the same purpose. So while learning, they had to pick up any sort of open source tools like Git agirbodu, Jenkins agirbodu, Maven. Then you have you can also use SonarQube for code quality. You can learn Docker, Kubernetes, right? Some of the monitoring tools you can deploy like Prometheus, Grafana you can use, right? So all of these tools they can start, but very high level I would suggest it will be Git, GitHub, then Jenkins, then Ansible, Terraform. All of these tools, if they start with, if they kind of prepare a roadmap of one high level architecture of cloud and the DevOps, hege ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಾಡಕ್ಟ್ ರೆಡಿ ಆಗಿ till deployment, if they have some tools in picture, it will be helpful for them.
ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ನಾವು ಈಗ ನಮಗೆ ಒಂದು ಏನರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಂದ್ರೆ ಡೆವಾಪ್ಸ್ ಇಂಜಿನಿಯರ್ ಆಗ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದು ಎಷ್ಟು ಸಮಯ ಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತೆ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಟು ಗೆಟ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟೆಡ್. ಸೊ ಮತ್ತೆ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿಯಿಂದ ಇದು ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಂತ ಒಂದು ಚಿಕ್ಕ ಒಂದು ಐಡಿಯಾ ಸಿಕ್ಕಿದೆ. ಈಗ ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಆದ ನಂತರ ಈಗ ಒಂದು ಇಂಟರ್ವ್ಯೂಸ್ ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಕೊಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆಲ್ಲ ಹೋಗ್ತಾರೆ. ಅಂಡ್ ಈಗ ಮೇನ್ ಒಂದು ಏನಿರ್ತದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಉದ್ದೇಶ ಇರ್ತದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಎಸ್ಪೆಷಲಿ ಈಗ IT ಗೆ ಸ್ವಿಚ್ ಆಗಲಿ ಒಂದು ಕರಿಯರ್ ಗ್ರೋತಿಗೆಲ್ಲ ನೋಡುವಾಗ is the salary something that people are looking into, ಒಂದು ಎಷ್ಟು ಸಿಗ್ಬೋದು ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ಇರ್ತದೆ. ಸೊ ಎಸ್ಪೆಷಲಿ ಈಗ ಈ ಫ್ರೆಶರ್ಸ್ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಒಂದು ಹೇಗಿರ್ತದೆ ಅಂಡ್ ಫ್ರೆಶರ್ಸ್ ನಾವು ಯಾವ ತರ ಡಿಫೈನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೇವೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ವಿ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಒಂದು ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದಂದ್ರೆ ರೀಸೆಂಟ್ಲಿ ಪಾಸ್ಡ್ ಔಟ್. ಈಗ ರೀಸೆಂಟ್ಲಿ ಪಾಸ್ಡ್ ಔಟ್ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಒಂದು ಫ್ರೆಶರ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ನಾವು ಹೇಳ್ತೇವೆ. ಮತ್ತೆ ದೇರ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಪೀಪಲ್ ಹೂ ಆರ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಈಗ ಒಂದು ನಾನ್ IT ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ, ದೇ ಮೈಟ್ ಬಿ ಒಂದು ಮೆಕ್ಯಾನಿಕಲ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರ್ಬೋದು ಅವ್ರ ಸಿವಿಲ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಒಂದು 2 to 3 years ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಇರ್ತದೆ, ಮತ್ತೆ ಅವರು IT ಗೆ ಶಿಫ್ಟ್ ಆಗ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ನಾವು ಇವರನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ಫ್ರೆಶರ್ಸ್ ಅಂತವೇ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೇವ?
See, when you talk about freshers, there is something called experience versus relevant experience.
Okay.
Right? So when we talk about experience, people have assumed somebody is a faculty member in a college, like a lecturer. Okay. Somebody is working in a bank. They're totally from complete non-IT background, right? Yes. For them to start, cloud is, evolved. Technology is evolved from your computers to server to cloud to containers now and something next. Technology is ever evolving, right? At what phase ನೀವು ಟೆಕ್ನಾಲಜಿಗೆ ಇಂಟ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಆಗ್ತೀರಾ, ಅಲ್ಲಿಂದ ನೀವು ಕಲಿಯಕ್ಕೆ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ. ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ದಟ್ ಗ್ರೌಂಡ್ ಜೀರೋ ಇಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಫಾರ್ ಅ ಕ್ಯಾಂಡಿಡೇಟ್. Second, for them, if they are kind of taking this transition, when we talk about salary is always a good motivation, right? At the end, you are trying to switch your career for better benefits. So IT industry alli nimige, if people are switching from different domains, we consider people who are from various backgrounds also, that they have relevant experience. Somebody started learning cloud 6 months back, they have learned all the subjects, they have gone through the training, they have practiced some tools, they know how to manage the tool. You can consider that as an experience ever since they started learning. And in production environment, some of the use cases that they have worked also will be counted. At the end of the day, they will demonstrate this knowledge in the interview. But the main thing that people have to do is, when they prepare resumes, what they do is they always focus on preparing the resume according to the job requirement. So even if they don't know certain tools or they haven't practiced it well, they add those topics there. And now when they go to the interview, the questions are asked and either they have to make up something or they'll not be able to answer fluently. That kind of lowers the confidence. Yaar interview ತಗೊಳ್ತಿದಾರಲ್ವಾ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಕಾನ್ಫಿಡೆನ್ಸ್ ಲೋ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ about the candidate. So it's always good that you present your use case 50-60% ನನಗೆ ಈ ಜಾಬ್ ರಿಕ್ವೈರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, I'm eager to learn, and present how you have learned, right? So that will build a positive mindset in that interview.
Okay. So ಆ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾದರೂ ಒಂದು ಚಿಕ್ಕ ಒಂದು ನಮ್ಗೆ ಇದು ತೋರಿಸ್ಬೋದು ಸರ್, ಆಸ್ ಒಂದು ರೆಸ್ಯೂಮ್ ಸ್ಯಾಂಪಲ್ ಇದ್ರೆ. ಸೊ ಅದು ಹೇಗಿರ್ತದೆ ಅಂತ ಆಸ್ ಅ ಫ್ರೆಶರ್, ಎಸ್ಪೆಷಲಿ ಈಗ ಒಂದು ರೀಸೆಂಟ್ಲಿ ಪಾಸ್ಡ್ ಔಟ್ ಆಗಿರುವವರಿಗೆ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಯಾವ ತರ ಇದೊಂದು ತೋರಿಸ್ಬೇಕು? ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಅಫ್ಕೋರ್ಸ್ ದೇ ವೋಂಟ್ ಬಿ ಹ್ಯಾವಿಂಗ್ ಎನಿ ವರ್ಕ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಇರುವುದಿಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಅವರಿಗೊಂದು ಯಾವ ತರ ಒಂದು ಇಡಬೇಕು, ಮತ್ತೆ ಈಗ ನಾನ್ IT ಇಂದ IT ಗೆ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸಿಷನ್ ಮಾಡುವವರಿಗೆ ಅವರಿಗೊಂದು ಯಾವ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಇದ್ರೆ
ಇಲ್ಲಿ I'm trying to show up a resume which is basically, if you see the resume, ಈ ರೆಸ್ಯೂಮೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇವರು ಸೋರ್ಸ್ ಕೋಡ್ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಟೂಲ್ ಮೆನ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಸರ್ವರ್ ಅಡ್ಮಿನಿಸ್ಟ್ರೇಷನ್, ದೇ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಆಡೆಡ್ ಇನ್ಫ್ರಾಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಚರ್ as a code, and they have added some programming language also, but this is way after, right? But if you see, they have covered most of the areas. One area of databases, system, some DevOps tools, all of this is covered. So whoever is trying to prepare the resume, you have to show this sequential learning, that many areas. Mainly for cloud engineers, the main requirement is basic computing, operating system like Linux. The services that on AWS, that is what people look at. On top of that, if you know some DevOps tools, like I said, Git agirbodu, Jenkins agirbodu, yen kaltirtira, adding those tools, And cloud monitoring and observability, if you add 1 or 2 tools where you practice and you present it well, that should be done. And once you have that information, when you look at a job description, one key, I wouldn't say mistake, one area where people can improve is they pick up a good looking template, they just edit their name and everything, they put it out. So one day resume itkondirtare, adನ್ನ ಎಲ್ಲ ಜಾಬ್ ಅಪ್ಲೈ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ, right? So that shouldn't happen. You have to modify that resume according to your skill, learning, and also what is asked in the resume, right? So every job, when I say prepare for every job individually, the step starts from preparing the right resume to it, right? Yes. That is very important.
And ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಏನಂದ್ರೆ ಸರ್, ಒನ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ ವಾಟ್ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ನೋಟಿಸ್ಡ್ ಇಸ್, ಈಗ ಕೆಲವರಿಗೆ ಇದು ರೆಸ್ಯೂಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹಲವಾರು ಇದು ಹಾಕ್ತಾರೆ, ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಶನ್ ಹಾಕ್ತಾರೆ ವಿಚ್ ಮೇ ನಾಟ್ ಬಿ ನೀಡೆಡ್. ಸೊ ಹೌ ಮಚ್ ಆಫ್ ದಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟ್ when they are searching or when they are applying for a job?
See, like I said, there are 2 or 3 things, right? Nowadays, LinkedIn is very useful for people, right? Okay. So, when the job preparation andaga, there are 3 or 4 key areas that people have to focus on. One, they have to learn and get trained, right? Yes. That is step number 1. Step number 2, what they have to do is they have to create a good looking, social profile like LinkedIn, right? Where they have to basically build network connections and add all the tools that they have learned. LinkedIn nalle solpa self assessments ide, adun tagondre it will all give you a digital badge on your profile, right? The next thing in the process is they have to basically enroll into some of the communities. Iga AWS ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಮಾತಾಡೋದಾದ್ರೆ AWS India community ಇದೆ. So when you enroll, a lot of networking sessions happen, a lot of trainings happen. Now you are directly in connection with people who are in the industry. And I'm not saying they will help you get a job directly, but they will help you guide and coach, right? Looking at people who are already doing this job, you learn a lot, right? Who's already there, the way they speak, they present, they manage the technology, right? When you're in and around technology, that mindset will change for you. The next thing is resume. A resume, like you rightly said, somebody will ask, hey, there is a good template, give me the template, I'll modify the resume like that. A resume template will not take you closer to the job, right? So looking at that, you have to make sure there are 50 tools mentioned. Do I know all 50 tools, right? Whatever tools you know very well, put them on the top, highlight them, right? And put the tools that you know 50% at the second block. And whatever you know at a high level, put it. When you go to the interview, be honest about it. Hey, no, I know Git very well, I know Jenkins very well, right? And Bamboo I have installed and I know things about it. You have to base your interview that way.
Okay. So yeah, because otherwise ಎಲ್ಲ ಇದು ಹಾಕಿಕೊಂಡು ಹೋದ್ರೆ ಮತ್ತೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲದಿದ್ರೆ ಯಾವುದು ಕಷ್ಟ ಇರ್ತದೆ, ಅದನ್ನೇ ಫಸ್ಟಿಗೆ ಅವರು ಕೇಳಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋದ್ರೆ ಮತ್ತೆ the chances of succeeding in an interview will drastically reduce.
Because once the interview takes a different route, bringing the interviewer into your path is again difficult, and it will go here and there. And also ಒಂದೇ ರೆಸ್ಯೂಮೆ ಇಟ್ಟು ಯಾವಾಗ ಅಪ್ಲೈ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತೀವಿ, it will also lower the confidence of the candidate. I'm applying so many jobs, I'm not getting jobs, right? You just can't put the same resume. Try modifying them.
Okay. So Wasim, as we were discussing, ಈಗ ಇದು ಸ್ಯಾಲರಿ ಪ್ಯಾಕೇಜಸ್ ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಇದು ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಇರ್ತದೆ? ಅಂಡ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಇಫ್ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಶೋ us some of the this thing for freshers ಗೆ ಹೇಗಿರ್ತದೆ, ಮತ್ತೆ ಈಗ ಒನ್ಸ್ ಈಗ ಜಾಯಿನ್ ಆದ ನಂತರ ಮತ್ತೆ ಏನು ಬೆನಿಫಿಟ್ ಇರ್ತದೆ, ಅದೊಂದು ಗ್ರೋತ್ ಆಗೋದು, ಅದು 2 to 3 years ಆದ ನಂತರ ಹೇಗೆ ಇದು ಗ್ರೋತ್ ಇರ್ತದೆ ಸ್ಯಾಲರಿ ಪ್ಯಾಕೇಜ್, ಅದೊಂದು ಇಫ್ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಶೋ ದಟ್ ಇಟ್ ವುಡ್ ಬಿ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ಫುಲ್.
See, industrially ನಿಮಗೆ mainly there are 2 types of companies that operate. One is your product companies and other one is your like service-based companies. Service-based companies ಅಲ್ಲಿ mainly ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, they basically run projects or maintain and manage the product and infrastructure for the customers, right? So it is like companies are providing manpower to a business, right? So their core business is providing the manpower, which means the revenue that is coming in is kind of filtered through to the resources, right? So when you look at some of the common service-based companies that we have today in the market, there you have about 0 to say, for example, when people start from 0 to 2 years, they expect a salary of 4 to 5 lakh rupees if they're a cloud or a DevOps engineer, right? when you hit good product companies, you expect 7 to 10 lakhs package, right? But again, at the end of the day, this is an investment for the company. So it totally brings about your tools that you present, the interview ali perform martira, and also how well you practice. Just learning is one part of it, but practicing every day is very important, right? So that is something. So if you target any good product companies, the average is around 7 to 10 lakhs, and companies also pay 10 to 15 lakhs for freshers and whoever is 1 to 3 years of experience. But again, you have to buy time, keep learning also, right? You have to add more tools to your stack, more technology. Then obviously your salary and other benefits will increase in the company. And company kuda, once new job ತಗೊಂಡ್ ಕೂಡಲೇ, some people kind of slow down. They don't learn again. They feel I have a job jothe continue agana anta. After 3-5 years, you become absolute again, right? So industry is heading towards converged engineering, which means you have to learn technology today to get a job. Adadmele continuous learning is very important.
Okay.
Once.
So, as you mentioned, it is important to continuously keep upskilling yourself. ಈಗ ಒಂದು ಜಾಬ್ ಸಿಕ್ಕಿದ ನಂತರ ಕೂಡ ಶುಡಂಟ್ ಬಿ ಕಂಟೆಂಟ್ ಸಿಕ್ಕಿತ್ತು ಮತ್ತೆ ಇನ್ನು ಏನು ಕಲೀಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಆ ಆಟಿಟ್ಯೂಡ್ ಇರಬಾರ್ದು, ಬಟ್ ಮೋರ್ ಸೊ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂಸ್ಲಿ ಕೀಪ್ ಅಪ್ಸ್ಕಿಲ್ಲಿಂಗ್. ಇಲ್ಲದಿದ್ರೆ ದ ಇಂಡಸ್ಟ್ರಿ ವಿಲ್ ಲೀವ್ ಯು ಬಿಹೈಂಡ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಮೂವ್ ಫಾರ್ವರ್ಡ್, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಹೌ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್. Because
technology is ever evolving.
Yes.
We were on servers 20-25 years back and we're on containers today. And after 5 years, maybe this discussion we're having becomes irrelevant regarding technology and things that we do, right? So you have to stay closer to the upcoming technologies. You have to learn, and that is how you build kind of your, demand in the market as well.
Yes. ಸೊ ಈಗ ಒಂದು ಏನಿರ್ತದೆ ಅಂದರೆ, ಎಸ್ಪೆಷಲಿ ಡೆವಾಪ್ಸ್ ಇಂಜಿನಿಯರ್ಸ್ ಆಗಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಹಲವಾರು ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸಿಗೆ ಒನ್ ಮೇಜರ್ ಕ್ವೆರಿ, ಈಗ ನಾನು ಇಂಟರ್ನ್ಶಿಪ್ ಏನಾದರೂ ಮಾಡಲೇಬೇಕಾ, ಈಗ ಒಂದು ಜಾಬ್ ಪಡೆಯೋಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದು ಇಂಟರ್ನ್ಶಿಪ್ ಮಾಡಲೇಬೇಕಾ, ಇಲ್ದಿದ್ರೆ ಎನಿ ಆನ್ಲೈನ್ ಕೋರ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡಿ ಅದರದೊಂದು ಸರ್ಟಿಫಿಕೇಟ್ ಇದ್ರೆ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಸಾಕಾಗತ್ತಾ ಏನಂತ ಒಂದು ಇರ್ತದೆ. ಸೊ ವಾಟ್ ಆರ್ ಯುವರ್ ಥಾಟ್ಸ್ ಆನ್ ದಟ್?
See, again, base one, you have covered learning, getting trained, the technology and everything. Now it's about where you apply the technology and how you get real-time scenarios. You have to understand use cases, right? So to practice this in the internet, there are a lot of websites which provide free labs, right? AWS itself has a skill builder and a lot of lab sessions that you get where you can practice.
Okay.
Right? And in AWS, you have well-architected use cases there. And solving those, you will understand a lot of things as well. And internship is all. If you get an opportunity for internship, yes, that will always help. If you go to LinkedIn itself, if you search for cloud and internship as a job role, there are so many internship roles where there are short-term projects that the companies are doing for 1 month to 6 months where they will enroll you. So working in that, now you understand all the technology and skills that you have learned. Idu business alli hege apply ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ. ಈ ಟೂಲ್ಸ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಟೆಕ್ನಾಲಜಿ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಒಂದು ಆಕ್ಚುಯಲ್ ಕಂಪ್ನಿಗೆ ಏನ್ ಬೆನಿಫಿಟ್ ಇದೆ, ಹಾಗೆ ಆ ಪ್ರಾಡಕ್ಟ್ ಅಥವಾ ಅಪ್ಲಿಕೇಶನ್ ನಾವೇನ್ ಬಿಲ್ಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದೀವಿ ಇದರಿಂದ ಕಸ್ಟಮರ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಏನ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಇದೆ. ಯು ವಿಲ್ ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ದಿಸ್ ವೆನ್ ಯು ನೋ ಟೆಕ್ನಾಲಜಿ ಅಂಡ್ ದಿ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಕೇಸ್. ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಅ ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಂಗ್ ಪ್ರೊಫೈಲ್ ಟು ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಫಾರ್ ಅ ಜಾಬ್.
ಓಕೆ. So that is it is more of an added benefit. So it is not like internship beke bekanteniಲ್ಲ, but yes, if you have it, it is more helpful for you while giving an interview and all that. And as you mentioned, ಇಲ್ಲಿಗ ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟೀಸ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಕೂಡ ಹಲವಾರು ಇದು ಸೈಟ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಇದೆ. as you mentioned, AWS ಅವರದೇ ಸ್ಕಿಲ್ ಬಿಲ್ಡಿಂಗ್ ಇದೆ ಇರ್ತದೆ, ಸೊ ವೇರ್ ದೇ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟೀಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು ಅಲ್ಲಿ, ಅಂಡ್ ಪ್ರಾಜೆಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಇದು ತೋರಿಸ್ಬೋದು. ಈಗ ಈ ಪ್ರಾಜೆಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಈ ರೆಸ್ಯೂಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅದು ಹೇಗೆ ತೋರಿಸ್ಬೇಕು, ಅವ್ರ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ತೋರಿಸ್ಬೋದು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀರಾ?
Yeah. See, when you're preparing the resume, first it's all about your learning and tools that you have learned. And then when you apply projects, project apply ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಈಗ ತುಂಬಾ ಕಾಮನ್, I wouldn't say mistake again, the way people are putting out projects is, okay, I use this technology, I build something, right? So at the end of the day, you have to put a business case or a use case to it, high level, like why this project, what was the need for this project, how things were running before you implemented this project, and what problem statement or use case did it solve.
Okay.
So that is going to help. When you talk about a project, you have to talk about two things. One, the business requirement, and two, the technology used. So some people focus only on technology. I know I use some AWS services, I created some project. This is how it works. The person who's taking the interview may also know how it works, right?
Yes.
But adding that business logic to it will always help you, get better in the overall interview experience.
Okay, so how exactly it helps the business and ಹೇಗೆ ಇದು ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು ಅಂತ got it. So that is something which will be really helpful and because ಹೆಚ್ಚಿನ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಏನಾಗ್ತದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಎಸ್ಪೆಷಲಿ ಫ್ರೆಷರ್ಸ್ಗೆ ದೇ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಕಮಿಂಗ್ ಪಾಸ್ ಔಟ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಕಾಲೇಜ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಆದ ನಂತರ ಬರ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಅವರ ಮೈಂಡ್ ಸೆಟ್ ಬೇರೆ ಇರ್ತದೆ. ದೇ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಫೋಕಸಿಂಗ್ ಆನ್ ಈಗ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಎಷ್ಟು ಬೇಕು ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಇದು ಬರ್ದು ಕಲಿತಾರೆ ಅಂಡ್ ಆ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಅವರು ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಾಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಇದು ಕಾಲೇಜಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಪ್ರಾಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅದನ್ನೊಂದು ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾಕಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಬಟ್ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಸೈಡ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಅದು ಹೇಗೆ ಒಂದು ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಟ್ ಆಗಲಿ ಅವರ ಕಾರ್ಪೊರೇಟ್ ಆಗಲಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಅದು ಹೇಗೆ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಆಗ್ತದೆ ಅದನ್ನು ಮೆನ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡಿರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಆ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಆ ಪ್ರಾಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಅದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ 1 or 2 ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ಸ್ ಅದರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಹಾಕಿದ್ರೆ ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಮೋರ್ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ಫುಲ್.
And also, when, like I said, networking is very important, right? People will find so many networking possibilities within the family, within friend circle, college seniors agirbodu, somebody in the locality, right? So people should try connecting and try asking these questions. Hey, you work in so and so company, what software do you build?
Okay.
Why people are spending millions of dollars in getting this software? Right? Okay. What is the business importance?
Yes.
Right? When you understand all of this, now you know, oh, the technology I am learning and the business that is an output on whatever you build, that is the importance, right? That kind of helps you relate, that you are closer to the subject, and that is very important. Learning where the technology is applied is really going to help the candidates or whoever is getting into the job domain.
Okay. So fair enough, Wasim. I think with that we have covered the main things which we wanted to know. ಈಗ ಒಂದು ಡೆವಾಪ್ಸ್ ಎಂಜಿನಿಯರಿಗೆಲ್ಲ ಹೇಗೆ ಇದು ಬರಬೇಕು, ಹೌ ಡು ಯು ಬಿಕಮ್ ಅ ಡೆವಾಪ್ಸ್ ಇಂಜಿನಿಯರ್, ಎಷ್ಟು ಟೈಮ್ ತಗೊಳ್ತದೆ ಒಂದು ಡೆವಾಪ್ಸ್ ಇಂಜಿನಿಯರ್ ಆಗಲಿಕ್ಕೆ, ಮತ್ತೆ ವಿ ವೆಂಟ್ ಓವರ್ ದ ಸ್ಯಾಲರಿ ಪ್ಯಾಕೇಜಸ್ ಒಂದು ಹೇಗಿರ್ತದೆ ಫಾರ್ ಅ ಫ್ರೆಷರ್ ಆಗಿರಲಿ, ಮತ್ತೆ ಆಸ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಆಗುವಾಗ ಒಂದು ಎಷ್ಟು ಆಗ್ತದೆ, ಯಾವ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇರ್ತದೆ ಅಂತ ನೋಡಿದ್ದೇವೆ. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ರೆಸ್ಯೂಮ್ ಅನ್ನೊಂದು ಬಿಲ್ಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು, ಹೇಗೆ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಂತ ನೋಡಿದ್ದೇವೆ. ಪ್ಲಸ್ ವಿ ವೆಂಟ್ ಥ್ರೂ ಈ ಪ್ರಾಜೆಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತೇವೆ ವೆನ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ಲರ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಡೆವಾಪ್ಸ್, ಅದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಹೇಗೆ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಯಾವ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಪಾಯಿಂಟರ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕಂತ. ಸೊ ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಫಾರ್ ಶೇರಿಂಗ್ ಆಲ್ ದೀಸ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಯಬಲ್ ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಶನ್ ವಿತ್ ಅಸ್, Wasim.
No issues.
Thank you, Wasim, for giving your precious time and ಈ ಒಂದು ವೆಬಿನಾರ್ಗೆ ಜಾಯ್ನ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದಕ್ಕೆ. So on that note, I would like to end the webinar for today. Thank you.
Thanks, Ashish.